has 4 yards per play. TCU has a 10-point lead, and they've only generated 2.8 yards per play. Unbelievable defensive half.
Let's head downstairs now, Dave.
Jamal Charles went out of the first half. He was holding his shoulder heading into halftime. We'll see what happens here in the second half.
Crosby weaves his way for good yardage out to the 35. So solid field position for Texas. Didn't have it all that often. Well, one time they did. When they had it at the Horned Frogs 48, their best field position to start a drive.
This was a key drive. They were in the red zone, had 2 consecutive offensive pass interference penalties, took them out of the red zone. They missed a long field goal. And then these 2 obviously were really, really painful. TCU got the 10 points off the interception return for a touchdown and interception return for short field. Very, very tough sledding for Texas's offense in the first half.
So Jim Knox just talking about Jamal Charles. And he went down, Dave, with that shoulder, you could tell.
Yep. Yeah, he grabbed it and kind of walked off the field holding that left arm like the shoulder was bothering him.
So the junior from Missouri City, Texas, Chris Obanaya, will get his first carry of the day. Lunges for about a yard. They had him in the backfield. Get him behind the line. He was lucky to get a yard. 2nd and 9 coming up.
And it's painful to lose Charles because he was the most productive in the first half. I mean, nobody had a great first half. He averaged 3.6 yards per carry. Long run of only 12. So that's 1 explosive run in the first half for Texas. And then, of course, Colt McCoy with the 2 interceptions were deadly there at in the second quarter.
And there was no doubt after that first pick, he was pressing a little bit. A couple of poor throws before the interception. They give him time on the deep out. That's a good gun. Quan Cosby, that's a long throw for Colt McCoy. He needs that kind of confidence builder early in the second half.
You're right, Joel. That ball's in the air for a long time. You have to throw this with velocity. And routes are run well. You have one-on-one. The receivers have to win their one-on-one battles. And Cosby, he won his one-on-one battle with Priest. And then if Colt McCoy gets the protection, if receivers win their one-on-one matchups, he can deliver the football.
So the opening minute of the second half. Texas shut out the first time in the first half of the game since Oklahoma. Red River Battle, 2004. Now how do they respond? Luke Tieman's in there, one of the few times they've used the fullback, and he had a nice block. Obanaya powers his way for about 4 down to the 39, but Tieman took his man on pretty well, didn't he?
He did. And Obanaya's a big kid, 6'1", 2.25". I mean, he'll dump it up in there. He's got something to him. He runs behind that pad level pretty darn well.
Explosive plays, only a couple. And an explosive is 12 or more on a run, 16 or more on a pass.
Right. And the 2 interceptions obviously were deadly. And finishing plays, that's subjective. I mean, you know, when you average 4 yards per play, you have to wonder, did you finish? Well, I think you have to tip your cap to TCU's defense. They're pretty darn good.
6 straight shutout quarters to start the season. Now out of the backfield, good grab. First down Obanaya because it was a low throw, a flutter. First down by about a yard.
This is a running back bailing his quarterback out. Play action fake to Obanaya and then throw him the football. That's a good grab. He led him well, but he led him low. Obanaya showing really good athleticism and flexibility to go down and snatch that ball.
Maybe with Obanaya in there, they try to go to the back in the flat more often than they would if it would have been Jamal Charles. 1st and 10. Toss, Obanaya. Waits for the kick-out block, and boy, the speed, the pursuit. What a run by David Hawthorne. He thought he had a lane over to the right side, didn't he?
He's phenomenal. 11 tackles last week against Baylor, and he is active tonight. He was the one that made the deflection on the interception that was critical that David Roach got to set up the 3 points. And look at him run inside out pursuit. And again, it's rare to see a TCU Horned Frog off his feet on the ground defensively. Hawthorne's one that it's very hard to get him off his feet. All these kids have incredible balance and closing speed.
They're a bright guy as well. He's a graduate student right now at TCU. Colt McCoy on 2nd and 10. Pocket holds up. Ton of time over the middle. Almost a great grab by Nate Jones.
It's good coverage. You know, you have coverage like that, challenging the play. Priest was in the vicinity again. Colt McCoy said, you know, I have confidence in you. Nate Jones, you had a great week for me. Made 9 catches last week. But Priest rises to the occasion. Contested catch. Priest is bothersome enough to Jones where he can't secure the pick.
Really timed it.
Yeah,
that left arm come in with the right arm going high.
Yeah, he raked at the ball. You know, I mean, that's just good coverage. It's nothing more than that. You very rarely see receivers running wide open against this TCU defense.
Huge 3rd and 10 momentum-wise for the Longhorns. Down at the 33. And a missed field goal. They'll only try a 42-yard miss and a timeout early in the second half for Colt McCoy. He's trying to spread the defense. They doubled up on the wide side of the field. Let's see what they do.
Like tonight now. Woo! Little close out there with the humans hanging from the trees.
From the 33, a 3rd and 10 for the Longhorns. Only 2 of 7 so far on the 3rd down tries. Pocket holds up well. Now McCoy on the edge. Can he get it done? End zone has a man. Touchdown, Nate Jones.
Well, you got basically, you end up with a wide receiver on a safety, David Roach. And the play was a great one by Colt McCoy. They rush 4 and they run a double twist inside. They lose contain with the stunt. McCoy gets out of pocket, buys some time, changes the launch point, and can't quite make the play as Roach. And Jones, after a career-high 9 receptions last week, gets the Longhorns right back in this one. You have an injured offensive lineman at the 40-yard line. And that's Ulikowski, and he's hurting a little bit out there.
Now, as you mentioned, a very warm night for the big guys, especially. How about the pass, though?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an inch or 2 away from the fingertip of the defensive back.
Yeah, that's a great throw on the run, and he put perfect trajectory. And you don't like to see carts and that type of thing come out to take players off the field. And that's what we've got going on right there at the 40-yard line. Big old cart getting ready to take Ulikowski out of there. But Nate Jones.
9 catches last week
Yep.
after 13 all of last season.
And that was, Texas needed that. You know, they're down 10-0. TCU has all the momentum. You know what I thought started, though? The momentum swing for Texas was when they had the goal line stand, they limited to a field goal. If they allow TCU to thump it in for a touchdown, you know, they get a little defensive momentum. And Ulikowski says, I'm not going off the field on a cart. I'm going off the field under my own power. He's got a right arm or shoulder injury, and he's shaking his head like it's not good. And here you see him right here. Let's see what happens. Everything, he's working against Blake inside, and as he goes to the ground, immediately that right arm just gives on him. And he might have done something to his elbow or his forearm or whatever, but when he hit that ground, it's like a one-point landing. You have a 300-pound body hitting that right hand on the ground, a one-point landing. It could have gone anywhere. It could have been damage to the wrist, elbow, shoulder. Who knows?
Now remember what happened last year. At Nebraska, Loki breaks his leg, his fibula, and doesn't get any help off the field. He walks off the field on his own with a broken leg.
That's a legend deal right there.
Now, Bailey to the point after. Missed a 42-yard field goal. Man, splits the uprights on this one. So a brand new game, a 65-yard drive to start it off. Took less than 3 minutes. Nate Jones, Colt, back in Austin last season. Texas finished 6th in the nation in scoring, 36 points a game. Took him a while tonight. Perfect pass from McCoy. Nate Jones finally on the board. Curlin will kick it away for the Longhorns. Back deep, it's going to Massey near side. Rock over the far side. Here we go. And on the short one, it's over to Massey's side on the boundary at the 17. On the chase. Look out. How about those wheels? Past the 25 to the 28.
Change of direction there, wasn't it? Massey can scoot a little bit. Take a look at what TCU's offense did here. They went for it on 4th and 4, weren't successful. They had the fumble, but it was nullified by the 2 offensive pass interferences on Texas, so it didn't cost them. And of course, they had the short field. They settled for a field goal. Where's the touchdown? That was scored by the defense on the interception return. So, I mean, offensively, TCU struggled against Texas's defense just as much as Texas struggled against TCU.
Well, they had a more difficult time even running the football. 15 yards on 22 carries.
Right.
It'll be Watts up the middle for about 5. That's a big game by this game standards. Derry get on that here. Dalton real efficient.
Yeah.
Without a running game, there's a cool customer, a redshirt freshman from Katy.
Boys, there's an explosive play. And TCU had 3 explosive plays, a pass of 16 yards or more in the first half. They won the explosive plays. They won the turnover battle. That's why they had a 10-point lead against Texas. But Texas comes out in the first drive of the third quarter and has an explosive play to score the touchdown.
On 2nd and 5, try to turn it in. If it can, about 2.5. Boy, you pay for anything you do in this game. They're popping each other downstairs. Watts, the recipient of that one. So 3rd and a couple. So Key's coming in for the Horned Frogs.
Well, they wanted to improve their tackling. It's been really phenomenal with tackling. Too many penalties. I'm sure that, that projects to a 10-penalty game. Don't want to do that. Now, the balanced offense, not necessarily in their play column, but in their yards. I mean, there weren't many yards generated whatsoever. TCU rushed for 15 and threw for 96.
Inside pitch. Watts can't get away. It was bobbled momentarily, and that split second cost Justin Watts. And Massey is a great decoy in the backfield.
Again, you have to credit Texas. Texas's defense, they're not chopped liver either. They're playing very, very sound football tonight. They're on their feet. They're reading their gap responsibilities well. And it's tough sledding up the middle because Texas has a rotation of defensive tackles that's second to none. And those defensive tackles really held the fort. Loki, Ocam, and Miller, those 3 guys are as good as there is in the country. And Ocam last week, 3 tackles for loss and a sack and a half against Arkansas State.
Derek Walsh sends out a beauty. Cosby.
What are you doing?
Yeah, takes it inside the 10. Now, out of his end zone. Well, he made a mistake when he didn't fair catch it at about the 12-13 in the first half, and now he backpedals, loses where he was on the field. Man, a bad break for the Texas Longhorns. TCU's not complaining. 3-point lead. Longhorns lose some early momentum. And Dallas Griffin will try to continue that. Their center is our Dr. Pepper honor roll. Dallas Griffin, talking about a bright young man. Right now he's working on his master's degree at Texas. Finally gets his chance to start. He's a senior from Katy. He waited long enough.
Student athlete extraordinaire. Hats off to Mr. Griffin.
Perseverance, you can tell. You academically could have done like he does. Nothing doing. And that's Charles Hughes back into the game. We'll talk about that. First, Michael Eaves at Dr. Pepper Game Break. Michael, what's the latest?
All right, Joe, let's go to the SEC. This one just became a final. Number 12, Georgia hosting South Carolina. Corey Boyd with the handoff. The only touchdown scored in the game, a battle of field goals. South Carolina goes into Athens and shocks the 12th-ranked Bulldogs 16-12. They snap a 5-game losing streak against Georgia.
Thank you, Michael. That is a serious story.
Sure is. Steve Spurrier, Coach Superior.
Second, a little more than 10. McCoy on a design roll. They grab. Little pop late. It's a flag. It's a first down. That's a real mistake by Brian Bonner. He was out of bounds at the 10. And they were looking at a 3rd and long. 3rd and about 7.
And Bonner's not happy about it. He's trash talking a little bit.
After the play, personal foul number 6 on the defense. It's a late hit out of bounds. 15 yards added to the dead ball spot. First down.
Bonner, the leading tackler in the first half with 6 total tackles. And you have to realize where you are on the football field. The white line is 5 yards broad. He's out of bounds by about 2 or 3. You just have to pull up on that one. I know Bonner's very physical and wants to be aggressive and make a statement, but they pull him out of the football game just to cool him down on the sideline a little bit after making that mental error.
So instead of 3rd and 7 at the 10, breathing room now for McCoy. Spreads the defense. Jamal Charles in the backfield, his first series of the second half. He's looking in the flat. He's got it in the flat, but on his back, the middle linebacker again, Jason Phillips, sure-handed tackle. We saw that in the first half. Jim Knox, what's the latest downstairs?
The stinger is you get a pinched nerve, and it just burns like crazy now. You lose some feeling.
It'll be 2nd and 6. McCoy. He's got team into the backfield, the fullback. And Jamal Charles didn't have a chance. Great penetration into the backfield early that time.
You know what happened there? Chris Hall is in at right tackle.
Jerry Hughes.
We saw Ulatowski go out of the football game, and that's his replacement. Very versatile lineman is Chris Hall. He gives up the inside penetration. That's a poor angle to take. And he started the game at right guard. because of the injury, he has slid out to the right tackle position. So there's been a little domino effect. Dockery's gone in at right guard. So because of one injury, there have been 2 position changes. And this offensive line is struggling to get some continuity. Those are 2 different guys right there at positions that started the game.
Matching up with Hughes once again. Can he keep him out of the backfield? Good throw. First down. Going down to a knee. The lineman swings with the fastball coming in. He's got it across the 35 in front of Sanders.
You know, Colt McCoy is a tough kid, mentally and physically. I think they're waving it off. I think they're saying it's incomplete. Let's see.
Dropped it.
Yeah, and it came out. You can see it laying on the ground. So he didn't secure the football. But Colt McCoy made a perfect throw. And that's the second drop that Lana Sweet has had. And Colt McCoy is tough mentally and physically. Are they saying that he had possession, the knees were down, and the ball came out late? Are they saying that he was already down with possession of the football? Is Texas saying that before the ball came out of it? Did he have full possession in both knees, or one knee? It only has to be on the ground.
We make it a challenge.
Now again, does he have control? Are the knees down? I don't think he ever really had full control of the football. That's what they're going to take a look at. Did he have it and tuck it and show full control? Because he's down on both knees when he receives the football. But you still got to control the rock.
From that angle, it was difficult once he brought it into his body. We were blocked out. And if it's inconclusive, then the play on the field stands.
Yep, exactly. And honestly, I wouldn't give him the catch. You know, I think you got to. I mean, you got to control it. He doesn't have it controlled, and it slides between his legs, and it's out on the ground. I don't see how they give that a catch. I really don't. I don't see enough control there.
The ruling on the field. Texas is charged with a timeout.
Yeah, now Texas only has 1 timeout left in the second half. Don't forget, Colt McCoy called a timeout in the first 5 minutes.
Right, exactly. And in a 3-point game like that, man, you need your timeouts potentially. Of course, TCU has the full complement of 3, but that is a huge factor in a tight football game like this. And here's an area of the game that TCU really dominated in the first half. Return yards. Texas only had 29, 10 on punt returns, 119 on a kickoff return. TCU had 94. They almost had a football field in kick returns. Texas had less than a third of a football field. Those hidden yards in a game like this are big, and TCU dominated field position in the first half.
Well, they should get real good field position now, unless Gerlin gets off. A career best, the sophomore from Katy. Brian Bonner waits back outside of the 30. And it's a short wobbler. What kind of hop? Sideways. TCU loves it. They'll have it outside of their own 40. So the Horned Frogs, talk about field position. They've got it at their own 41. Time now from the 41. First down, TCU. Got a 10-7 lead. Dalton looking in the flat and underneath. He's gone to Shea Reagan with a flag down. A couple of flags down deep out of the secondary.
They're going to call offensive pass interference against TCU.
Yes. They had 3 calls offensive interference against Texas in the first half.
Offensive pass interference, number 86. That's a 15-yard penalty. Will be first down.
Shea Reagan, the big tight end. This is an overly officious group of offensive pass interference. I mean, they are just spying the offensive pass interference. Take a look at him as he runs his route here. What does he do? Yeah. Well, he pushes off. I mean, he pushes off to get separation. You know what, though? In football, let the way run the route. Yeah, let him run the route. Shea Reagan's like, huh? They call that 8 penalties on TCU now for 65 yards. Shea Reagan demonstrating the sideline. All I did was extend and pivot. I think when you extend the arms, basically they think he's blocking, just like Texas got fired.
Blitz coming. They go away from the blitz. Bryant has it. He's got some space. Bryant out to the 40. What a play call. Yep. Going away from the blitz. Brandon Foster on the stop.
I'll tell you, we're witnessing a redshirt freshman quarterback, Andy Dalton, grow up snap by snap. I mean, this venue is not intimidating him at all. And tremendous cushion by the Texas defensive backs allows that play to be run. And Dalton just, when he looked out there and saw the cushion, he said, this is going to be good. He got it out there in a timely fashion and allowed his wide receiver to be a running back, and they're back pretty much on schedule.
Well, they got 14 to the 15. It was just assessed. They got that back. It'll be 2nd and 11. Bolting up the middle, it's Christian. Good run by Ryan Christian, the sophomore from Toledo. Brought down by Killebrew. So all of a sudden, some gaps up there, up front.
Well, you have a team first and 25, and they end up with a third and short. That's pretty good execution. And somebody lost their gap control responsibility. There were two defensive linemen in the same gap. So one guy can block two when that happens. Texas was unsound hitting the gaps on that snap.
9-game winning streak on the line for TCU. One of the longest in the nation.
Nice.
Christian covered immediately on the outside.
Boy, that was just a great play right there by by Ryan Palmer. He read that route and just closed on the football big time. Christian, who's a wide receiver, makes a nice snag, but boy, you talk about a rival immediately. Nice job by Palmer. Hit across the bow, picture perfect tackle. Gave him no yards after catch.
The big questions for Texas defensively coming in. They resided in the secondary. Palmer, first season as a starter, the junior from Arlington. And a big player there. Walsh to punt. Now, low line drive. Cosby calling for the fair catch. Bobbles it, but gets it this time at about the 9-10 yard line. All right, we just had our Aflac trivia question. Besides Texas, teams to average 50 or more during an entire season. Now you got to go back to Army first.
Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside for Army.
Houston. David Flingler,
run and shoot.
Mouse Davis offense there. And then twice with Nebraska in 83 and 95.
And they did it, of course, with the option. And they ran the ball down your throat. Houston spread you out and threw it down your throat. And Army ran the ball down your throat.
Longhorns still. Last drive started at their 7. This drive at the 8. They've got to take care of the football. No turnovers. McCoy back the other way. Wide open his tight end. Misdirection, a little drag. And he's got it to 30. Boy, is that a basic block down and then release?
It's called the tight end slow. And Finley grabs his right calf. I think he's cramping up big time. Looks like he's got a big old knot in that right calf. He's trying to massage out of there. You can see it. Man, it looks like a golf ball in that calf. Ooh, he's cramping like a big dog. Man, you got to stretch that calf out. You got to get him some fluids. Ooh, yeah, get those toes bent back. Get those toes bent back. Ooh, release.
That is painful, too.
Oh, my goodness.
There's about 60 seconds of excruciating pain.
Watch him slow block here on the backside. He's going to slow block, and then he's going to release. He's going to release. He was on the other side. My bad. Yeah, and he ran a shallow cross. But it was a slow block. He blocked and then released, and the secondary totally lost track of him just like I did. And he made the catch and made yards after catch. That's just a great design right there.
Some misdirection from the quarterback sold it as the roll went the other way. Michael Finley, just a sophomore. 31 catches last year. That was the best ever by a freshman at the tight end position. And they've had some good ones in recent years here at Texas. Great Alamo Bowl, their win over Iowa. He had 8 grabs in that game.
You know, what you have to do as a tight end on that, the tight end hide or the tight end slow, is you have to sell the block. And Finley did such a great job of that. And rigor mortis is starting to soften up a little bit here as he gets off the field. But if we could show that play again and show what Finley did as a tight end, that would be outstanding because he sold it. He went to the ground. He made people think that he was doing a cut block. Watch him on the front side. He'll come down and hit the ground and then get up late and run the shallow cross. And once he sees him hit the ground, he says, okay, he's blocking. And he says, I gotta chase the run. Uh-oh. Oh, no, it's a throwback. That's just great job by Finley selling it. Big time play right there.
So Colt McCoy one way, the ball the other way. And let's not forget Colt McCoy and the presence he's showing and bouncing back and responding after the first half. They got away from him in the second quarter. He looks like a coach's son, doesn't he? His father, Brad, is coach at Jim Ned High School.
Yep.
Tuscola, Texas, about 20 miles outside of Abilene. And there's not a lot of people in Tuscola, Texas. There's one, maybe 2 stoplights in Tuscola.
I bet they have good barbecue down there, though. There's barbecue everywhere in Texas.
Boy, when Colt McCoy came through, the redshirt freshman last year, that was the story. That meant a lot to those people. Started all 13 last season.
That's some nice hair on Molina.
1st and 10 from the 30. Moving the pocket again. Running out of racing room, and he's got Jones. Time and a break for the defensive back Coleman. He got there. He didn't know it,
No.
but he got there in the perfect time.
Well, Colt McCoy underthrew that football. And as a result, Stephen Coleman, they have enough speed to recover. And Colt McCoy couldn't transfer his weight, and he floated that thing a little bit. And because the ball was underthrown and Jones had to jump and wait for it, Stephen Coleman, luckily, he never saw the football. He was just space guarding Jones. And he said, okay, I can see his eyes getting big. I know the ball's coming, so I'm going to try to time it. And he just fortunately did, because he was beaten. But Colt McCoy could not plant that foot, transfer his weight, and throw the ball out there and lead Jones.
Yeah, the number so far for McCoy in the second half. Little underneath screen, Nate Jones, middle of the field's available. He's got a first down across the midfield stripe. Doesn't take much when you've got speed on a little flanker out, or basically a screen, kick screen for a flanker.
He's the beneficiary of TCU paying a lot of attention to Lyman Swede. And since they're paying a lot of attention to Lyman Swede, the other receiver has a lot of one-on-ones. And he's going to win. And he's winning. This is nice, just a nice little alley screen right there, and he uses his blockers expertly and takes it up the football field extremely well. Tremendous block. I mean, a couple of guys got out there and just took Robert Henson, the linebacker, to the turf. And that's one of the first times I've seen a defensive player on the ground. And Jones, he made it pay.
It's good for 21 yards and a first down. McCoy looking for the out. Underneath instead. Good catch and run. The yards after the catch by Quan Cosby. And the momentum belongs to Texas right now. He wanted to go to Nate Jones again. And that would have been a deep out.
You know what's going on is Tony Hills, the big left tackle, is doing a pretty good job on Blake. Let's take a look. Up here at the top. That's pretty good. I mean, that's technique, that's staying after it. And Blake wasn't the one that made the hit. The hit was David Hawthorne, the blitzing linebacker. You know, Tony Hills has done a pretty darn good job in his set. And he's a guy, you talk about somebody, he was the best tight end in Texas. And he had a really, really bad injury, nerve damage. He had dropped it for a while. He's come back from that.
Colt McCoy, silent count bullets. Didn't take long when he got under the center. Dallas Griffin did it.
Just goosed him, you know.
First down.
He doesn't tell anybody else. He just kind of gets the hands under there and gives the center, you know, a slight, hey, here I am, and take care of things. Snap it up there and let me just scoot. Follow you, cozy up behind you.
Out of West Texas. Let's go. Colt McCoy leads him down to the 37 on a drive that started back at his own 8.
You ever played duck, duck, goose, Joel?
Not with you. McCoy underneath the grab. That's the other tight end. Peter Ullman with his first catch of the game.
Yeah, they're well stacked at that position. Texas has got multiple tight ends they can use. They'll catch it, they'll block it. You know, it's rare to have more than one tight end on your team that can block as well as he can catch the football. And Texas has more than one.
Colt McCoy now 22 of 34 for 222 yards. So far, so good in the second half. It looks like he's calmed down as opposed to last few minutes of the first half. Maybe pressed a bit. A long drive working close to field goal range already. Now out of the gun. Jamal Charles scampers up the middle for a first down. He's all the way down to the 16. Hit it in a hurry, didn't he?
Yeah, he spun away from David Roach. He made the unblocked safety miss. And that's what great running backs do. Great running backs have to make the first unblocked guy miss. And Charles did it with a tight pirouette. I mean, his ballet coach would have been proud of this one. The line gets him going. Quick hitter. Watch this spin.
Smooth move.
See you later.
Brought to you by Keystone Light.
Have a Keystone Light on this smooth move because watch this one. See you later. And Roach was in great tackling position, and Charles gave him the leg and took it away. Smooth move.
Outside of the 15, Charles dragged down from behind. The man who came in, Jerry Hughes, the sophomore again, on his back. And also over there, actually Kelly Griffin. Hughes was on the opposite side.
He's the first true freshman, Kelly Griffin is, number 69 in that white jersey. The first true freshman Gary Patterson has ever started in his 7 years as a head coach at TCU.
280, 6'1", that's a load.
Because there was a suspension of the starting tackle ahead of him for the season, and Griffin's had to step up, and he's played very, very well. He was playing high school football last season. Now he's in the big show in Austin.
He's from Irving. Minute 45 and counting. And now timeout. on the field. Texas has used their final timeout of the first half. You're positive Mike Martz is not working in the press box here. Minute 43.
Don't want to miss
left
this
in the
zone.
third.
Got to take care of this red zone opportunity.
Right after our matchup here in Austin, Texas. Another good one. Part of our triple header. Colorado coming off a very emotional win. They won last week right here on FSN. Dan Hawkinson, Cody. In the opener, throwing for better than 200 yards. They got a field goal at the end of the game from Kevin Eberhardt in overtime. Ryan Gerain for another 100-yard plus game. So here we go.
Cody Hawkins has never lost a football game since youth football, has he?
Tonight's going to be a tough one.
This could be his biggest challenge yet. He's
Yep.
61-0 or something?
Maybe 57-0 now. Could be 61. Now out of the gun. And dead ball foul.
Yep, it was a Flint
Ball start.
Yep.
Ball start, 86 offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
You got to remember, Finley went out with that cramp. Allman has taken over the tight end.
And the thing is, this is after a timeout. After a timeout, you can't do this. You can't sustain a penalty in Flint's like that when you're inside the red zone. You know, after a timeout, and you have to be careful. Colt McCoy has to really focus on ball security. The last 20 trips in the red zone by the opposition, TCU has 5 interceptions. 20% of the time they pick the football off in the last 20 opportunities in the red zone by the opponent.
59 yards in penalties, 6 mark-offs against Texas on second and about 15. Screen again, Nate Jones. Not as productive as the last one. Boy, talk about gesture.
Yeah. Talk about recognition. I mean, TCU said, oh, we've seen that. And the inside-out pursuit was astonishing. I mean, they are quick. They get off blocks, and they just sprint.
Ran into the underneath tackle, John Fanua. 5'10", 275-pounder up against, that's about a 100-pound difference.
I want his hair. I want Fanua's hair. He's got the locks of Troy Polamalu going down there.
3rd and 10. Maintain the drive. McCoy in trouble. Won't get to the marker. And boy, does he take a pop. Loses the football. TCU comes up with it. Colt McCoy with a poor decision.
Well, what you have to do is you can't take a hit like that. You have to give yourself up. Colt McCoy is looking at the official like my forward progress should stop.
Chase Ortiz on the recovery.
Man.
But you can't take on it. It looked like a linebacker.
Yeah, and that's what cost him at Kansas State. He took on a linebacker and lost that one, and you have to give yourself up. Plus, there was somebody, you might want to challenge that because was this forward progress stop? Phillips rips the ball out
He's
there.
not down.
Phillips rips the ball out, but I mean, he was stood up and the forward progress. There was no whistle, so I guess you can't say it. Colt McCoy, he's got somebody's around his legs, then Phillips rips it out of there. The only argument you could have was forward progress to stop, but there's nothing you can do because there was no whistle.
So they come away empty
now
on a drive that started all the way back at their own 8. But it was so quick. How could you say you didn't hear a whistle?
Yeah.
That's going to be the difficult aspect of it.
Yeah, and you know, talked about the 5 interceptions in the last 20 opportunities in the red zone against TCU's defense. Then they come up with a fumble, a takeaway on the 21st. 6 takeaways in the last 21 journeys in the red zone for the opposition if this stands up. That is mind-boggling good.
Yeah, as the quarterback, and you do so many things well on a drive that long and that time consuming. You're not going to get it, and he was a good 5-yard shot of where he needed to go. Then you have to have the presence to go down.
You got to pick your battles. You don't do that against a big middle linebacker. Maybe against a smaller defensive back, but not a middle linebacker like you see right there in Jason Phillips, who, you know, eats raw meat and slobber knots people. I mean, you're not going to win that battle. Plus, he had a defensive lineman hanging around his legs. All you do is assume the fetal position at that point. You know, you give yourself up, and you hope at that point maybe they hit you and you cause a personal foul.
It looked like a lock for 3 and a tie game if they don't get the first down on 3rd and 10. And that failure, just 3 of 9 on their 3rd down drives. He's been picked twice. Now, if the play stands, it's a fumble. That's 3 turnovers.
This is huge, obviously. I mean, we're talking about a 3-point game here. And is it a turnover in the red zone or not? It's a momentum changer either way.
John Bible, the referee, talking to the crew upstairs.
They're taking a long, long look at it.
After review, the call on the field is reversed. The runner's knee was down. It'll be Texas's ball, 4th and 6 on the 11-yard line. Please set the game clock to 1:01.
That is a huge break for Texas if they can get 3.
And as a result of the defensive lineman draping around Colt McCoy, was the left knee down? Yeah, it is. The left knee's down. The ball is still in his possession, and then it's ripped out late. That is a good call. His left knee was down, and then the ball was ripped out after the fact by Jason Phillips. I mean, that's a good call. By rule, that is a good call.
It'll be a 28-yard field goal attempt for Ryan Bailey. He missed his first try of the new season in the first half, a 42-yarder. He just barely hooked it. This requires a bit of a draw, doesn't it? And he's got it. It is all even in Austin.
TCU should have sprinted to the line of scrimmage and run a play and not allow all that time to review it.
I'd like to see you run that fast, David. It's all tied up. For the locals here, almost 90,000 at Darrell K. Roy Memorial Stadium. Final minute of the third, a very entertaining third and a productive 10-point third for Texas to get back into the game. Boy, he hit a wedge into a win on the short when the ball is loose. There's going to be a wrestling match at the bottom of this.
Oh, yeah, strong hands, wrists, forearms win this one. And it can change possession multiple times in there. I've been in those, boy. That ball slides around sometimes amongst different hands and arms.
Texas has the football.
Wow.
Do you believe it?
And I think the tight end, Quentin Cunningham, made a bad decision trying to come up and dive to make a play on that football. So, boy, a turnover that was reversed with Colt McCoy's knee down allows the field goal to be kicked. Then Cunningham can't control it on a diving effort. It's around his legs. And that's just a heads-up recovery right there by James Henry. And unfortunate turnover, short field. TCU's defense, their backs right up against the wall immediately.
So Texas gets it back. They've outgained TCU 150-17 yards alone in this quarter. Total domination, and they needed it. They've got it to 26 of the Horned Frogs and show the reverse for the first time, and it doesn't work. They stay at home. Now, what a job by the defense taking care of Nate Jones. Chase Ortiz, he always stays here, doesn't he?
He's a smart football player. Another guy involved in that play, Torrey Stewart. I mean, they run. They run, boy. Ortiz, former linebacker, tight end in high school. Now he's a 6'3", 255-pound defensive end. I think in both cases, Blake and Ortiz are tweeners for NFL. Are the outside linebackers? But the guys with that kind of athletic ability, they're going to play in the league, boy.
Well, our first game on FSN today, it won a few overtimes. And Texas A&M prevailed 47-45 over as we get ready for the first snap of the fourth. Jamal Charles trying to bounce it out. A lot of team speed. They bend him to the boundary. He got it down to the 24. A gain of about 5 going back now to our game summary.
Yeah, and as you look at it, Texas outgained TCU by 130 yards in the third quarter alone. And McCoy obviously came to life with that touchdown pass being huge. Texas had one explosive play in the first half. They had 5 in the third quarter. And, you know, we saw the first game of our triple header, 92 points scored in triple overtime. This one we got 20 points scored after 3 quarters. We've seen an offensive clinic, and now we're watching a defensive clinic.
Third and 8 for the 24. Will they be able to get points off a turnover? Blitz coming up the middle. McCoy sees it. It's available to the 10, to the 5. Popped out of bounds just short. He's at the 1. He got a nice block from his running back, too, off the middle.
Yeah, what he did, Joel, is TCU gambled, and they overloaded. Colt McCoy took it up the other A gap. Watch, two linebackers hit on one side. Look at that red seat part. There's no linebacker on the other A-gap because they were doing a blood cross up to between the center and right guard. Colt McCoy realized it right away and he said, I'm gone. I'm taking this to the house. Great recognition by Colt McCoy when he saw both linebackers stacked to hit the A-gap between his center and right guard. He hammered it up there between his center and left guard.
Redshirt freshman. Out of Longview, Vondrell McGee in for the first time. He'll get it. Left side, stacked right there. He wanted to go airborne. It didn't work. As Roach came up, a couple of them came up, pushed him back.
Yeah, Blake was an air traffic controller and said, you're not getting up. I mean, you know, Blake, what wasn't Blake? Oh, no, I'm the air traffic controller and I'm the air traffic stopper. See you later. I mean, that's just a pretty good defensive charge by TCU. Reestablishing the line of scrimmage backwards.
Well, they had a similar situation last week and didn't get in. McGee, big lane, he's in. First lead of the game for Texas.
Watch the surge up front. Tackle blocking down. Man, that's power football. It seemed like everybody was in the hole making blocks. And low-key, the big defensive tackle in there as a fullback. Big old low-key said, follow me, my man. Low-key, a 300-pounder just clearing a path. That was just great power football off the right side of the Texas offensive front.
It's the leg.
Penalty. Try.
So the point after try. 5 yards further back for Ryan Bailey. Now, this is the first lead of the game. 17 unanswered for Mack Brown's Texas Longhorns, and it's points off a turnover. After Hunter Lawrence put it up into the air, the sophomore from Bernie outside of San Antonio. Good job. He knocked it down like a beautiful wedge at the pin. But this is huge. Not only the extra point, but they're out of timeouts. Texas does not have a timeout left in the game. And it could go down to the wire tonight. Point after, Bailey gets it.
Well, you know, Joel, you so astutely mentioned earlier, 20 of their 44 guys are underclassmen and they're too deep. Overcoming adversity like this will help them big time.
Texas Longhorns, and it comes with 14:09 left in the fourth. Joel Myers stayed left. Jim Knox back in Austin. Well, it was Gary Patterson. They told Jim Knox at halftime, 60-minute game. They were up 10-0 into the half. He doesn't want to be a prophet in this case. Now all of a sudden they're down by 7. Lawrence kicks it away. Over the far side, it's going to be Marcus Brock from the 4. Design return right, goes up the middle, flags down. So a penalty you would have to think with an illegal block. As they put him down at the 27. TCU, by the way, is still looking for their first down of the second half. They've only had 2 possessions, Dave, and they've both been 3 and out with a punt.
And a big factor in this football game, look at that, less than a yard per play on first down. Wow. I mean, that puts you off schedule immediately.
Blocking the back, number 21 on the return team. The penalty will be 10 yards from the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 at the 10.
Irvin Dickinson with the hold. Irvin Dickerson with the hold or the illegal block. It's going to cost this football team some field position, and it's based on speed. You know, and here you have it. He just pushes him in the back, and obviously it was a factor. He was closing on at the point of attack to make a play. But the replay official, the booth official today, Mack Brown had no timeouts to challenge Colt McCoy's play. The booth replay official was heads up enough to want to take another look at it, and he saw that Colt McCoy's knee was down.
Now from the 10, Dalton looked one way, went the other, a flag down from the linesman. The pass taken in at the 15, a gain of about 5.
Holding, 79 offense. Half the distance to go, remains first down.
He threw it from such a good distance, you figured maybe somebody hooked somebody. And it was Nick Richmond, the tackle on the right side.
Let's take a look at him out here, see what he does, see if he reaches out and grabs someone. And oh, it's an inside rush, and yeah, he's got the big old hook. He's got the hook going on, and you've got to call that because Aaron Lewis had it beat to the inside, and he just wrapped his arms around him to keep his quarterback clean. Coach Gary Patterson, he said it at halftime with Knoxie. He said, I'm telling my team the game's 60 minutes, not 30.
Christian from the goal line as he handed it off. He was almost in the end zone. A gain of a yard for the 5 to the 6. Downstairs we go, Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Joe. I'll tell you what, I look over my right-hand shoulder and look on the bench. It's Colt McCoy. They're massaging his left calf. That's right. Possibly cramps settling into Colt. On that long run, he pulled up a little bit and started limping. They took him directly over the bench, and they're massaging that left calf right now. Leg cramps down here on the Longhorn sidelines, guys.
All right, Knox. And he also, at the end of that play, did take a shot. He got a pop right at the one when he was knocked out of bounds. 2nd and 14. Dalton looking for the middle screen. Now dumps it off the other way to Christian. Not a bad call. And McElroy, 2nd consecutive time. He showed incredible speed. So it's going to be a huge 3rd down, deep in their own territory, trailing by 7. First down marker brought to you by Overstock.com. With the convenience of shopping at home, you can save up to 70% on amazing deals from Overstock.com. It is all about the O.
Well, it could be another 1, 2, 3 and out for TCU. You mentioned, Joel, the first 2 possessions they did. Here they face a 3rd 10 plus. Not a situation you want to be in, backed up at your own 10-yard line against this Texas defense playing so well.
4 of 12 on the 3rd downs thus far. A 3rd and 10. Dalton time into double coverage and almost intercepted. And he threw it in the direction of Walter Bryant. But the defensive back had a better shot at the football. And on that play, it was Brandon Foster.
Well, you talk about halftime adjustments. Texas has made a bunch on offense and defense. And this is where it all starts, with pressure. And that's right in the old smush. And low-key just does not mess around. Low-key is one big, powerful human being. Here's a guy that can bench press 515 pounds. And Dwayne Aquino loves it. When low-key's in the game, they're tough to handle in pass protection. I'll give you a number after this punt.
Will it be a short field now for Texas up by 7? Beautiful punt. Billy Crosby back at his 42. Can't make the first one miss. He slowed him down. So good job downfield on the coverage by Eberle. And Crosby will be put down shy of the 45. We'll be back after this one. Colt McCoy, as Jim Knox told us, they were working on his calf. They took a shot on that run all the way down to the 1, but he's back in there at the 44. It's been all Texas in the second half. TCU hasn't done a thing offensively. Charles, well, the early penetration of the backfield slowed him down. No gain on the carry. And right after our matchup, we've got 12 minutes and counting left. Todd Hawkins and his staff underneath. Take what they give you, and that's all you got. He's line of sweep to the midfield stripe, a gain of about 6, so it brings up a 3rd and 4. They have definitely contained Swede, but on the opposite side, well, the recipient has been Nate Jones. 9 catches last week, career best. He got 7 for 85, where Swede only has 4 now for 26. Talk about the disparity in offense.
Swede's doing his job, though. He's being doubled, and they're saying, Jones, we're going to let you go one-on-one, and Jones is winning. That's a good job by Swede.
On 3rd and 4, McCoy. Jones got it. And that's a great timing play by the 2. Good communication. And it's a 1st down. So McCoy is the story right now in the second half. Pulled it off in front of a very good one. Brian Bonner, Joel Myers, Dave Latin, Jim Knox. We continue. Inside of 11. Stopped it momentarily for the movement of the chains. But if they don't convert on 3rd and 4, they waste great field position to start that drive at their own 44.
And I got to give a tip of the cap to the Longhorn defense. The offense was struggling. Colt McCoy had 2 turnovers, 1 taken back for a touchdown. And then the defense, after a short field, the second interception, they held it to a field goal. Defense hasn't given up a score, and they allowed the offense to get in sync.
Charles, a single set and a deep one at that. Skips his way through the line, makes him miss into the open field. Jamal Charles, by far his best run of the night. And he's out of bounds in the 12.
Well, he finally found a cutback lane against TCU. They do such a great job. Even though they run to the football so hard, they very rarely over-pursue. This time they did. Look at just Henson over-pursuing, and he was on the wrong side of the formation. And Charles saw him and said, you know what, I'm cutting this back. And he cut it back violently, and then he took it to the house. Well, he's watching 51, and he sees 51 rolling back to the onside. He's the backside linebacker. He sees on the wrong side of the hash mark. I'm cutting it back on him. Nice job, nice vision.
So the Big 12's outdoor 100-meter champion a couple of years ago as a freshman. Waits again, lets it slide. Gets about 2 on that one to the 10, but this is not just so-so speed we're talking about. This is a guy that as a true freshman won the 100 meters with a time of 10.23. Try to catch him.
Yeah, I think this year though is showing he put on he didn't run in the spring. He worked in the weight room and worked on his football, and that dedication puts some weight on him. He runs tougher now. He breaks more tackles. He's more consistent. He dedicated himself to Longhorn football, and it's paid off for him.
It's at the 10 where it's 2nd and 8. Now McCoy on a play fake is popped, and he's fortunate that it did go out of bounds the way it did. A wounded duck.
Yeah.
Stephen Hodge got him.
He did. Colt McCoy said, "I want to throw this away," but he had nothing on that football.
Well, you saw Jamal Charles that close, 9 yards away from stopping the streak of 21 consecutive games without a 100-yard rusher against this exceptional defense of TCU.
Well, in 75 games under Gary Patterson, they've only given up 10 100-yard rushers. As you mentioned, none in 21 straight games. That is great team defense.
Trying to make it a 2-score game. When they get in the end zone, well, they have to settle for 3. Or at least a try for 3 on 3rd and 8 from the 10. Once again out of the shotgun. Pocket holds up a little bit better. Now it collapses. McCoy beats him out of the backfield. Gets a late block, and he's out of bounds right at the first down marker. Where will they spot it?
Well, the guy he beat was Ortiz, and he's exiting stage right. He's leaving the football field. Ortiz is tapping out. I mean, he's going to the sideline. And watch him right here. He's going to be the one putting on the pressure on McCoy, and he beats a double team. Back chips to help, and whoops, can't catch him. McCoy feels him. He's on the front side. He's starting to get away. Ortiz is coming, and when he dove to make the tackle, and McCoy took off from him, Ortiz had to leave the field. Now he's just trying to catch his breath and recompose himself over there.
You got a block from Lima Sweet downfield. That's why you saw one of the Horned Frogs just go flying. And you play the percentages. You're short of the first down by a yard. You can make it a 2-score game, but the clock is running out. And it's a timeout by TCU.
The Longhorns sent the field goal unit out there late, and TCU had the wrong group on the field.
Yeah, but the Longhorns were going to have problems getting the snap. It was down to 4, and the holder got on the field late for Ryan Bailey.
Gary Patterson didn't like, he's chewing him out right now. He didn't like what he saw out there, and he's the one that did call the timeout. You look at this, though, the way TCU is being handled by Texas defense, even this field goal, if they go up 2 scores, that's a big uphill climb. That's like a Mount Everest climb for TCU's defense to get 2 scores.
And you used one of your timeouts. Yeah, the injury at the end of the first half, Jamal Charles, a stinger. Yeah. You could tell he could barely get up.
Look at it. He's got the left arm in there, cradled in there, but he said, "You know what? I'm back. The stinger's gone away. I'm going to spin away from people." That was the smooth move right there, and then the cutback, and then the speed. And once he gets in space, he's a tough guy to handle because he's got so many moves, and he's got the quicks. He can accelerate.
So Bailey. Field goal attempt. He's already got one tonight of 20 yards, just like an extra point. It's up, and it's a 2-score game. So 20 unanswered points now for the Texas Longhorns. Colt McCoy tried to get to the goal line, maybe even a first down. If he gets 20 straight by the Longhorns, the number 7 team in the nation, they were trailing 10-0 at the half. Joel Myers, Dave Lapham, Jim Knox back in Austin. Story of the game, though. The Texas defense. A lot of people wondered, with so many question marks in the secondary, could they get it done against a team like TCU, a quality opponent? They gave up 397 yards last week to Arkansas State. Well, only 148 so far for the Horned Frogs for the Mountain West Conference on 48 snaps. Lawrence gets into it, and does he ever. Massey will stay about 5-6 yards into the end zone. The Horned Frogs with a long field back at their own 20, trailing by 10. Well, November 18th, 1961. TCU here in Austin, taking on the number 1 team in the nation at the time. Yeah, flea flicker, Horned Frogs needed it. A little lateral, Sonny Gibbs, Larry Thomas, back to Gibbs. He will find Buddy Isles for the game's only score.
Razzle dazzle.
They upset the #1 team in the nation, the Longhorns, 6-0 back on November 18th, 1961.
And it's known as the cockroach game because Darrell Royal called TCU the cockroach. It's not so much what they eat and carry off, it's what they get into and mess up.
Quick out. It's complete. Rock's got it. And thank you, David Barron, historian
That's
from the
right.
Houston Chronicle. 9:32 to play.
First down of the half right there for TCU. They get it in one play.
And they moved the pocket back. And Colt McCoy got going once they started to roll him around.
Change the launch point. If you're getting serious pressure between the tackles, change the launch point.
32, it's a first down for the Horned Frogs. Ton of time, 2 timeouts on the board. Here's the blitz. There it goes. And it was covered. Offensive lineman very alertly getting on top of it. And it may have been the center.
Jaron Norton was involved with the hit, as was Roy Miller.
Montgomery, actually, who covered it up. And what a shot.
Yeah, he got hit by 2.
Yes.
Watching the backside. Here he comes. You got some pressure coming from Jaron Norton, and he hits him from the backside, and he gets smacked from the front side by Roy Miller. He's the meat of the sandwich, and that's a big old Longhorn sandwich right there.
Roy Miller is 300+ pounds. You feel that? On 2nd and 15, Watts has to turn around. They track him down after a gain of only a yard or 2.
Gary did a nice job in space of containing Watts, turning him back inside. Then the play was finalized by Jaron Norton again.
Another hit you were talking about with Norton and Miller.
Here comes Norton on the edge. Boy,
that's a shock to your system.
Yeah, that shakes your whole skeletal system up. You have to get your fillings checked, make sure that they're all still intact.
Well, your body just wasn't meant for jolts like that.
That's like a car wreck. That's whiplash.
3rd and 13. Moving him out on the edge. Can Dalton get there? He spun around and really popped. McElroy. McElroy gets him. He was slowed down. Right before McElroy applied the hit. Almost looked like they got him around the grill.
Yeah, Dalton out of pocket, nowhere to go, has to tuck it, and he pays. Man, that's just pretty good contact.
It was Houston that slowed him down. He got him around the shoulder pad.
McElroy just exploded. He was like a cobra. He basically coiled himself and recoiled.
And now, clock moving. Only 7 minutes left. By the time and put it on the ground, Walsh did. Can pick it up and take it, and they will. Touchdown, Texas. It's Brandon Foster. So the pressure came on Derek Walsh, and he couldn't handle it.
Well, he didn't. Foster didn't handle it the first time, but he got back up and picked it up the second time. He tried to pick it up and run and couldn't quite control it on the first stab at it. Then he stayed with it. And that's not that bad of a snap. That's just mishandled. And there's Foster. It's like, where is it? I know it's around here. He gets right back up, shows great athleticism, and picks it up a second time and takes it to the house. Each team has an unconventional score. TCU has a defensive touchdown. Texas has a special teams touchdown.
7:01 to play. And it's gotten away from TCU, to say the least. Bailey with the chip shot, an extra point.
Joel,
27-10. Do you believe it?
Joel, this is the 54th unconventional touchdown since 1999.
I'm talking about a sudden change of events. 10-0 TCU at the half. And 27 the other way for the Longhorns.
Whatever Mac Brown said at halftime, he should bottle it and sell it.
Massey and blocked away. And Lawrence gets into it again, and Massey will stay in the end zone. So first down at the 20 for the Horned Frogs, a team with only 1 first down in the second half. Their offense did not support the defense too much in the second 30 minutes of play. Now 2 timeouts still on the board. Let's see what they can do. And by the way, Bob Steinfeld, our producer, and I got into town earlier this week. We were on a research and development mission.
Yes.
And we want to thank Steve Premier, the GM and director of golf at the University of Texas Golf Club, as they give it to Christian up the middle. He battles for about 5. But Steve Premier took us hole by hole. We had to do an investigative report.
Right.
And it took 18 holes to investigate and research.
Right.
And we want to thank him for
So
the facility. First of all, is the layout. The course itself is beautiful, but the academic services, everything they have for the golf teams here at the University of Texas, for both the men and the women, the practice tees, the video, the rooms that they have to help them as student athletes so they can get their work done over there in the training facility at the golf club. There's an edge. When you bring a kid in to recruit like that, as that time the quarterback Dalton took it on himself, put down by Foster. He's got a first down. But I think that with that said, it requires one more trip to get the job completely done.
You have to make sure about your research. You have to basically edit it.
It's so beautiful overlooking Lake Austin, Lake Traverse. You look at the Colorado River. It's pretty spectacular. These vistas up there in the hill country. Austin's not a bad place. Kind of summing things up. Dalton hits his man on the quick out. It'll be a gain of about 6. Now, the first down marker is brought to you by Overstock.com. Live better with savings of up to 70% on amazing deals from Overstock.com. It is all about the O. And it really hurts that right down the street is a Rudy's Barbecue. That kills you.
Yeah, that helps.
Dalton throwing. And Derek Moore stretches for it. So 5.5 as they stop it on another first down. Robert Killebrew is waiting there for Moore. So the Texas Longhorns, they've taken 14 of their last 15 at home. And Dwayne Akina, co-defensive coordinator, has got to be pleased with what has developed. Massey, look out.
Wow.
The pop applied by Eric Jackson, and just happy to see the kid get up.
Boy, you talk about focus. To hang onto that football after that kind of contact is phenomenal. Watch Jackson arrive with the ball and watch the helmet depart and still secure the football. Unbelievable effort by Donald Massey. I mean, the quarterback was good. The coverage was good. The receiver was unbelievable.
Well, they get a quick score. A touchdown, that is. And an onside kick. And a little delay over the middle. All the way down to the 20. They finally catch up with Irvin Dickerson, the senior. It was taken away, but he was already down to the 15. So a quick drive that started deep in their own territory. Back at the 20 for the Horned Frogs. They still have 2 timeouts on the board. Could make things interesting.
This game, the way the game was played, you hate to see TCU down by 17 points. It was a different game than that.
They'll run Reagan. They're tied in motion. Little double move, corner of the end zone, and overshoots. So wide open target, Jimmy Young. That's one of the few poorly thrown balls we've seen from redshirt freshman Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, a little pump fake, and the double move that you described, did not quite hit the spot that was necessary in the back corner of the end zone.
5A, All-State quarterback Katie High in Houston. Or can they quiet the crowd, get into the end zone, and then get an onside kick? That's what it's going to require. Quick Christian to the backfield. Flag. Dead ball foul against the offense.
Legal procedure. You know, you look at Katie's, I should say, you look at the numbers that Andy Dalton had at Katie High School. Over 3,500 yards, 52 touchdowns. And the thing that I like most about this young man is he seems to be unflappable. Don't like 11 penalties for 85 yards, though, against a team as good as Texas when you're playing at their place. You have to play a cleaner game than that. It'll be 2nd and 15 back at the 20. They pick up the blitz from the opposite side. Now into the corner, just out of the reach and deflected, in fact, on a diving attempt. As he went once again for Dickerson. A nice play
by Marcus Griffin.
Well, Mac Brown is 48-5 here at home. And he's 36-4 against the State of Texas team. He's won 19 of his last 20. And Dalton's trying to change it, down 17 points, but that's just tremendous coverage. And that's just an effort that's extraordinary right there by Brandon Foster, who's had himself a good football game here in the second half, for sure.
So now on 3rd and 15. Dalton got rid of it in a hurry. Massey had it deflected away. Eric Jackson at that time. Well, it's a 3-score game. They're down by 17, 4:27 to play. But I think you need at least one touchdown before you can think about a field goal. And they will bring on the place kicker, Manfredini. So they're not going to waste the chance to at least get something on the board. As much as they gambled in the first half, it's kind of a surprise.
Well, it's 4th and 15, though.
It's a short field.
That's tough, but it's real congested.
It'll be a 37-yard attempt. And
Before the snap, delay of game on the offense. 5 yards.
Now it's 4th and 20.
Fourth down.
When in the red zone, there's tighter. I mean, as you saw with Dalton, the windows get a lot tighter. There's not as much space to work with, and you can play zone defenses and really tighten things up. It's tough to execute on that many yards on 4th down.
42-yard attempt for Manfredini. With a 20-yarder at the end of the first half. Another flag.
Wow.
How about it? How about a 47-yard try? This kind of summarizes the second half for TCU.
Number 97 on the defense caused a false start by the offense. That's an offside penalty. 5 yards, 4th down.
Okay, Frank Ocamp. So now it's back to 15. You want to go for it?
No, it's back. Yeah, it's back to 15. No, I still don't go for it.
4:27 remaining.
Colorado up on Arizona State early. 7-0 lead. Dennis Erickson is already making a major impact out there at Arizona State. Colorado feeding off the momentum of that overtime victory against Colorado State early on.
That was quite a game on FSN last week at Mile High in Denver. So back to 37. Can we get it straight? It's on its way. And Money in the Bank with Chris Manfredini. So it is down. At least the deficit is down to 14 for TCU. (27-13) with a little more than 4 to play, and here comes the onside kick. Derek Combs and the Horned Frogs. The hands team out there over at the far side. And big hop, what they wanted, and it's covered by Texas. It was there for the taking, wasn't it?
Yep.
Dallas, or Marcus Griffin rather, comes up with it.
Robert Henson shows his displeasure. This one took on the second bounce. Is where right here, boop, the high one. That's where you really have the opportunity. You can't quite execute it.
They overran the play.
Yeah, Hunter overran it, and it was there for the taking, but looked like Bart Johnson or Andy Burrell, one of those guys on the kick coverage team, overran it as well.
So they've got it now at the Horned Frogs, 43, trying to run it out. No timeouts left, of course, for Texas. They don't want to stop the clock. 2 on the board for TCU. But again, Texas's defense. Jamal Charles still trying to get 100 yards against this incredible defensive unit. He gets 3. Time now for our curious Kyocera wireless. Yeah, it was starting to fall apart before that. But Walsh felt the pressure coming. And it got away with not a bad snap.
No, it was right in his midst. Wash could not control it.
We're now on 2nd and 7. Keep the clock moving. Charles a yard to the 39. And it's been 21 consecutive games since anybody had 100 yards or more against this TCU defense. Charles with his 21st carry. He's up to 95 yards.
And then coaches mentioned that he had 27 carries last week against Arkansas State, that it was maybe a few too many, and they wanted to cut him back to between 20, 22 carries in that range. And they've successfully done that at this point. But Charles with the stinger, he said, you know what? I don't want out of this football game. Showed some toughness himself and came back in to finish it.
Right now they've got him at 20 for 94. Thought it was his 21st. They'll get it off in time. Charles, he's got his 100-yard game and a lot more. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Texas.
Wow. 39-yard scamper, 40 yards in that range. That's a quick hitter. Nice job by the boys up front. Texas offensive line, it was like the tale of two halves. First half they struggled. Second half they dominated. I mean, they did a great job up front. You give this guy a crease, boy, he can take advantage. And again, you don't see too many times where TCU loses their gap control integrity, but every time they have, Charles has made them pay.
Yeah, he did have 21. Now it's 22, and it's all over in Austin. 2:42 remaining in the game. Bailey for the point after. We'll come right back. So big brother against little brother. Well, the old timer prevailed, didn't he? Texas dominating, leading it now 34-13. Texas has outscored TCU in the second half 34-3. It must have been some kind of speech at halftime from Mack Brown and his staff.
Oh, yeah.
Massey deep into the end zone will stay right there. You know, Jack's links in the trenches. What about the block by Hills?
Yeah, watch Big Tony here. Just he's blocking down. He's taking it inside. He takes the angle. And his responsibility is to absorb the middle linebacker, Jason Phillips. He did. He eclipsed him. Tony's a big man. Got some serious size going on there.
Hunter Lawrence having a good time as the last three have gone into the end zone. And that's a weapon. When you're kicking it from the 30, they've moved it back to the 30 to bring the return back into college football. And not the case. Dalton, and a great grab by Moore. He goes down with the first down, stretching out of the 33. Everybody's prayers have been answered. He's going to be back with the team in the next, 2-3 weeks? And that's what they're projecting. Dalton in trouble. And throws it away over the head of Derek Moore in the neighborhood with 2:18 to play. It's a short week for Gary Patterson and his staff. They've got another game on Thursday, and they're on the road. It's at Air Force. So they've had 3 games to start the season in 13 days. How would you like that? You got Baylor, Texas, and then Air Force to start your conference schedule on Thursday.
Right. And on top of that, Gary Patterson's son will be deployed to Iraq in December of this year. So Gary Patterson is prideful of what his son's trying to do to ensure that we have the quality of life that we have.
It'll be third and a little more than 2. Big hole. Christians gets a first down across the midfield stripe. But I mentioned the game on Thursday. Then they get a bit of.
They'll be ranked high enough. That's a hole.
And it's caught.
That's a takedown. Boy, did he get his money's worth, old Bart Johnson.
Well, Gary Patterson spoke with us about the conference schedule and the game on Thursday.
Just allow him to play at home instead of having to travel to Air Force on the short week on Thursday. Man, tough turnaround.
Dalton swings it. Christian has it. Takes a shot as he goes out of bounds. So gain of about 4 on the reception.
You know, I think ultimately Texas wore Coach Patterson's team down. You know, they're bigger, they're just as athletic, they're bigger and stronger, and over time it takes a toll on you. And I think they kind of just wore them down a little bit. Texas defense never gave an inch all night.
Well, Mack Brown mentioned that the mistakes they made in the opener against Arkansas State, they were correctable. Derry's got the pick. Interception, Scott Derry. He's had a sensational game all around from start to finish tonight.
That's Dalton's first pick of the game. done a pretty good job of taking care of the football. Never saw Derry. He was trying to throw the shallow cross, and Derry just read Dalton's eyes. Derry said, I'm going to just jump right in front of the receiver and make the play. Dalton never did pick up 33 in the burnt arm.
So it goes back to Texas to run out the clock from their own 43. And back to what I was mentioning with Mac Brown, said everybody was upset about the first game. He said they stayed positive. The staff just worked. There was nothing negative.
Right.
Every error they saw was correctable. And it's a young squad. 20 of the first 44 in the two deep, freshmen or sophomores. So it's only going to get better as they gain the experience. Obadiah with the carry.
Well, there were things like Dallas Griffin snapping the ball to Colt McCoy when he wasn't looking, and they lost 20 yards on that.
And they had that first and goal to the 3. 4 snaps didn't get in. But they've replaced 3 guys on the offensive line that combined for almost 90 starts.
And they had to replace 3 in the secondary, and 2 of them were back-to-back Jim Thorpe Award winners. So those 2 position groups, the offensive line and the defensive backfield, that's where the biggest unity has to take place in terms of recognizing what's going on, communicating to each other so you're on the same page, and having the trust to do it. And they're building on that.
Obadiah again. He'll take it to the midfield stripe. Well, looking back on some of the key
That play.
Final snap of the game. And that'll do it. So looking down the road for the Longhorns, and the one game that always stands out for Texas as they celebrate their second win of the year, the game at the Cotton Bowl, Oklahoma, the Red River Battle, October 6th, as they try to build for that one.
That should be one heck of a football game. Oklahoma beats Miami big today. Sam Bradford shows that he's the real deal at quarterback for Oklahoma.
But the way this game started, David, I would never believe that the Texas Longhorns would finish with 415 yards in total offense, but that was the case, and they win it decisively, 34-13 over a